Aha, my internet's back again.
Ew.
My fucking internet's dying so bad. I am back again. Just wait, my internet's gonna go out in like a minute again. You need to go to war now. Yeah, just for a second there.
All right, so I'm gonna get off.
Okay.
I'm tired.
Being tired.
Okay. I guess we'll talk about this tomorrow. Funny. What the fuck? So, tomorrow, I guess, we'll talk about this. Spaz. Okay. See ya. You're not leaving for Alaska. Ha, I knew it. No, I'm joking. See ya.
Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching Today I Found Out, and in the video today we're answering a viewer question. Zach L asks, why does Vladimir Putin walk with one arm moving and the other stuck at his side? So, while there is no single correct way to walk, most of us have a gait where we swing each arm forward when its opposing leg moves forward. Likewise, as with the length of the stride, which is generally the same for both legs, the distance of the arm swing is usually about the same for both left and right arms. While exactly why humans do this hasn't yet been definitively proven, with the most popular theory being that while not essential, it's mostly about improving balance and decreasing angular momentum of the body, the fact remains that this is how the vast majority of humans all over the world walk. But it's not so with Vladimir Putin, the president of the Russian Federation. For those who've never seen Putin's rather odd walk, when Putin walks, his left arm swings freely forward with his right leg stride. However, when his left leg strides forward, his right arm barely moves at all, remaining nearly still and close to his torso. This has resulted in some idly speculating that maybe there's some neurological cause for the gait, perhaps even a sign of Putin being in the early stages of Parkinson's disease. Reduced arm swing is interestingly an early indicator of this disease, although it's usually accompanied by tremors or other such additional indicators as well. Others have speculated that Erb's palsy or even a minor stroke might be the underlying cause. The problem with all of these hypotheses is that Putin not only has the full use of his right arm and hands for day-to-day activities like writing, eating, etc., but even likes to show off his prodigious judo skills, as well as strength in weightlifting. In both cases, the right hand and arm seemingly show no sign of weakness, tremors, etc. Combined with the fact that Putin's had this gait for many years without change, this all seemingly rules out the aforementioned potential causes. So, well, what's going on? Well, thankfully, as Putin himself has never commented on it as far as we can find, a team of doctors, led by disorder specialist Dr. Bastian Blom, decided to look into the matter, publishing their paper on the subject in the British Medical Journal in 2015. In it, they came up with an intriguing and quite probable hypothesis as to why Putin walks this way. In their paper, titled Gunslinger's Gait, a new cause of unilaterally reduced arm swing, they noted that Putin was once a long-time member of the Soviet Union security agency known as the KGB. He was a member from 1975 to 1991. In fact, he eventually rose to the rank of lieutenant colonel within that organization before leaving it during the brief August coup attempts against President Mikhail Gorbachev. Showing off their research skills, the doctors dug up the book KGB Alpha Team Training Manual, which, if you go read through that manual, which is actually kind of interesting, it contains the following text in Chapter 2 concerning the proper way to move. It is absolutely necessary to keep your weapon against the chest or in the right hand. Moving forward should be done with one side, usually the left, turned somewhat in the direction of movement. You should crouch to stay concealed, lean the body forward slightly, and keep the knees bent. While Putin forgoes crouching like that when walking around in public, his gait otherwise very much mimics the one recommended in the training manual. So presumably his right hand stays at his side, presumably because he's holding an imaginary gun or is prepared to draw one when he needs it. In other words, perhaps because it was so grilled into him in training, or simply because he thinks it looks cool when he's walking around with that so-called gunslinger's gait, he seems to have chosen to keep the walk long after his KGB days ended. Now, on its own, this reference in the training manual doesn't definitively prove anything. It's still just speculation by the doctors in question. To give more credence to their hypothesis, the researchers presumed that if it really was the KGB training that caused this peculiar walk, Putin wouldn't be the only one that walked around that way. Thus, they examined the walks of other Russian military and/or former KGB officers, finding several Russian officials today that also displayed the seemingly bizarre walk. Most notable among this group are Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev, former Ministers of Defense Anatoly Serdakov and Sergei Ivanov, and a military commander of high rank, Anatoly Sidorov. Like Putin, Ivanov was a KGB official, and thus this seemingly supported the hypothesis that strict adherence to the KGB training led to Putin's now lifelong habit of walking with one arm more or less fixed at his side and his body ever so slightly turned. In addition, although not KGB, Sidorov was a member of the Russian military, and Serdakov had served at least 1 year in the Soviet army, where this particular type of movement was similarly taught. In all of these cases, these individuals' walks aren't quite as extreme as Putin's can be sometimes, but they definitely display the same basic pattern of movement. The one that doesn't fit the mold, however, is Medvedev, who has no direct links to the military or intelligence services, but still walks this way at times. That said, in his case, he seems to have very actively been coached to mimic Putin's iconic walk, expressions, and even speech patterns during the process of being groomed to potentially follow Putin as president, which he subsequently did from 2008 to 2012. Of course, without confirmation from Putin himself, nobody can really know why he walks this way, but given the lack of any other signs of a neurological issue that might cause such a gait, that the movement pattern is described well in the KGB training manual, and that at least some other ex-KGB operatives also display a similar walk, this certainly seems like the most compelling hypothesis that anyone's come up with so far. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button. Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching Today I Found Out, and in the video today, the richest family in the world.
Yeah, I understand the need for like the forward in R1, but does it have to be forward in R1? I feel like I'm hitting forward and hitting R1 like all the fucking time, especially in like fights. When you're in a fight, I don't know why that's ever been mapped that way. It should be something else. I've always had a problem with that. In every one of these fucking Souls games. You know, when in doubt, radish it out! Remember, what do I do if my dad leaves and never comes back? You gotta put a squirrel tracking device on him. Throw it on his back. And then you can find out, like, where he is. You can call him and be like, Dad, I know where you are. Jerva, please dab for us. That's never going to happen. Ready? I'll have my character do it. Cool. So when is he going to dab? I'm not going to dab. Why? Look, why do you guys? Look, I don't know if okay, you might be like the younger generation. Let's be like an old fucking person here. It might just be me. It might just be the fact that I'm a very, very elderly person. But I mean, really here. What's going on? What's going on with like all this dumb shit that you guys think is cool? You know what we used to do? Like, oh, you guys have like the dab. What the fuck is that? You remember the Macarena? The Macarena is what we used to do. And it was fucking cool. You know, you like put your hands out like, and then look, this is what we used to do when we were fucking kids. This is what this is my dab. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
This is my dab when I was younger.
I fixed.
Where you go?
I think.
See?
So,
You wish you were as cool as our generation
Yeah.
was. Take a look. Here it comes.
what are you laughing at?
Wait. What? Wait, is it?
Oh, that's illegal.
Where's the fucking audio? There it is.